Next up, refer to figure 10E13 and cut the boot cowl stiffeners to length. So just like I did for the bottom skin, we'll cut some stiffeners, and they're gonna go right here in the top, and it looks like in the middle. Got the two stiffeners placed on the left side here, this one up here, and that one there. Got those clecoed in on the tabs, and what I need to do now is do like I did on the bottom skins. I need to do equal spacing. I believe they're going to call for probably a 2-inch hole spacing on those as well, and for that I'll also use my rivet spacer. Got my rivet spacer set up here, and turns out between these two I can get exactly 2-inch spacing if I go every other hole. And we've got nice 2-inch hole spacing all the way between the tabs. I'll do the same thing up here. Now this we'll see, I'm not sure. Depends on the spacing between these. If we land on exactly 2 inches or not, I may have to adjust slightly. Well, it turns out on this one, if I just catch the rear and I come up here and catch the firewall cleco, that gets me on every other one. That gets me exactly 2 inches, and it just misses this tab here by, 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch, and it just misses this one by maybe a heavy 3/32. So I think what I'll do is I'll come across here, mark every other one, and I might, when I get to this one, I might uncleco this, stretch it out just slightly, and get that hole spacing to match. Here, I'll just show you. Easier to show you than explain it. So I'll come across here, every other one, this one, and then that's where my existing hole is. So I think what I'll do here is, let me take this cleco off, and I'm going to just stretch it out to this one, and I'm just going to hold it here rather than cleco it, and I'll go every other hole, this one and that one, and that should do it. Cool, got all these done, clecoed in place. They definitely add some stiffness here. Here's what it looks like from the back side. Got all those in there. Now I will do the same thing on the right side. All right, got the right side all done. Everything drilled and clecoed in place, like so. The manual says you may want to, or you can, shim between the tabs and the stiffeners and the skins, and I can see where I'm going to want to do that. I don't know if you can see, but it's nice and straight, and then it kind of bows out here. So this is going to need a shim, maybe 40 thousandths, and this one might need like 20 thousandths. Try to get me a nice line right there. And same thing with this one. It's just got a little bit of a bow right here, so I'll shim on this tab and this tab, try to get a nice straight line. The manual is calling for match drilling number 40 through the firewall flange into the side skins. And before I do that, I want to, because I just clamped these in place, and my 5/8 boot cowl straps are kind of sandwiched in there, but they're not in place. So I need to at least find one of them, locate it, drill through, cleco it, and then maybe down here at the bottom cleco it, and that way they're registered and I can come in and do the rest. Okay, I got the 5/8 boot cowl strip set in there exactly where it needs to be. All the holes are lining up to the firewall flange holes. Got it clamped in place, so now I'll just go ahead and pop my holes from the inside out using my long flexible 3/32 bit here. Got a little tricky down here at the bottom. I had to kind of push on the 5/8 boot cowl strip while I drilled to get it to line up, but I got it. So that's done. Now over here. It's like every time I do something on one, I'm at the stage where things are really symmetrical, so I do something over on this side and the same thing happens over here. But it's nice because I can do my screw ups on the left side and then the right side's perfect, right? The manual says to cleco the panel frame to the fuselage at these tabs here. But then it also says to cleco the instrument panel to the frame to keep the frame flat and straight, which makes sense because the frame alone is pretty twisty. The problem is there's the holes that they have in the panel are really big. They're, I don't know, 3/8 holes, and then that's a number 40 drill on the panel frame. So I've put clecos in anyway, but my concern is that, I'll take this one out, you know, I'm really just kind of relying on clamping pressure. It's not really, it may shift, I guess, is what I'm saying, but for this stage, it probably doesn't matter. This is really just to keep the panel frame flat. So I'll just go ahead and put these clecos in all the way around here and we'll see what that does. That seemed to work pretty good. It's holding it pretty securely. One thing I notice I do need to do is match drill this hole through the panel frame into the panel on both ends so that I can cleco that panel to the tabs. Now that means that there will be a hole in this panel that I don't think it gets a rivet through it because the panel gets screwed to the panel frame, not riveted. But in my case, it's a non-issue because I'm either going to cut my own carbon fiber panel or I'm considering doing the Aerosport carbon fiber panel. So I may not even be using the Rans supplied panel anyway. So I'll go ahead and match drill these, and that way I can get this thing clecoed up in the airframe. There we go. That works. I did have to do some trimming. That's going to be hard to see, but I had to do some trimming of the frame and the panel to fit around a little bit of there's a glob of weld behind the tab here. Had to trim about 1/8 of an inch in, maybe 3/16 or so. And the hole that they provided on this side, the little number 40 hole, didn't match up at all. It was off by about almost 3/16. So I just drilled a new hole. And technically, I think my panel is probably off center by, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, if I had to guess. But there really wasn't a whole lot I could do about that. That's just the way the cage is. So no big deal. I don't think it's 1/8 of an inch isn't going to be noticeable, if it's even that much. Bend the panel frame tabs and firewall flange as shown to allow the top skins to lay flat. So bend these tabs here so that everything lays flat on the firewall and up here. So because it's a curved surface, it'll have to kind of be tweaked all the way around here, but easy enough. I'll get that done. Well, about the only way to do this. I tried to get my seaming pliers in there, but they're just too wide. I get interference with the clecos, and it's just a lot of flanges to bend at once. So I'm just going to use my little duckbill needle nose here and just come in here and just start working each flange. I'm just using this as a straight edge, just a piece from the kit. Looks like a stiffener of some sort. So I'm kind of getting the front edge that looks about right, and then I'll go up to the panel frame and work that. And there's no, I don't know, easy way to do this. It's just fiddle with it. Kind of checking as I go. It actually looks pretty good. What I'm curious about is coming around this corner here, how that's going to work out. because now this boot cowl strip is kind of having to compound bend, potentially, I don't know. Although it looks like as it comes around to the side, it needs, the firewall needs less of a bend, if any. The panel frame does, but oh, that's actually not bad. Okay, what I'm noticing here is as I come around, less bending has to happen on the firewall as we get to the bend. Seems like most of this bending of the tabs down is happening right in this area here, and then as I come around the corner here, really none is needed right there on the firewall. Now on the panel frame, I do see I'll have to. The panel frame, I do see I'll have to bend these tabs just a little bit, but just the way the geometry works, looks like most of the bending to get these tabs in line happens kind of up here and less out to the sides. Okay, I got the left side done on the panel frame, and here's what I'm looking at. I got a nice flat tab against the straight edge on the panel frame, and then I have a nice flat tab or a flat surface on the flange of the firewall. So I'll continue with that all the way around this side of the panel frame next. Now it calls for clecoing the top of the boot cowl skin here to the panel frame. And that's going to be number 40s. I need to get it centered. Now we have to make sure the firewall flange is flush with this top skin, and we'll transfer drill number 40s up through the firewall flange. So to do that, I need to first take out these clecos. Yeah, that's going to be a good fit. So again, I need to make sure that this boot cowl strip is matching the hole in the firewall flange before I drill up through it. So I'm going to probably start in the middle and go out to the ends separately and cleco as I go, and that should do it. So the first one is going to be a little tricky. I definitely need to make sure that I'm on that hole. But I think if I stick the drill bit through there and stick it through the boot cowl strip, put the skin flush. Here we go. And then cleco that, and I just work my way down. The key here is to make sure that that firewall flange is flush with this leading edge of the skin, because the firewall, until it's clecoed onto this skin, it can still flex quite a bit. So I guess I would say make sure if you're doing this step here that you really check for that, because like you can see here how that can move quite a bit. So just kind of making sure that that'll be flush and should be okay. So I can go ahead now and do the same thing here, and that'll finish that out. The top center boot cowl skin is fit, drilled up here in the front, clecoed. Got a nice flush edge with the firewall flange. And a nice straight line on the panel frame. Cool. So far this has been going together pretty nicely. It's boot cowl intimidated me because of what I've heard in the past from other builders. It hasn't bit me yet, but I have just been really being meticulous and really checking things, reading the manual, looking at something, reading it again, looking at it again, checking measurements, making sure things are centered as best they can be. Just doing those things, and you know, it seems to be fitting. So we'll see what happens when I start getting these pieces on. That we might see some issues there, but so far so good. At my buddy's place here, he's got a roller, and I'm going to roll these. I already started this one. It seemed much easier to do that than to try to bend it by hand, so this is going to work out. Well, I got those parts rolled up pretty good. My buddy, he's a neighbor of mine here at the air park. He owns the Pitts Flying Museum. Google it if you're not familiar. He's got about 12 pits, maybe more, most of them in flying condition. He restores them to like factory new. It's a pretty cool operation. He's got all the cool tools. So anyway, here's this one. This one here I've got already fit up there, and it was a great fit. Just rolled it almost to the shape it needs to be, and it worked out a lot better than trying to, I was thinking of trying to bend it around a cardboard tube. I had a setup over there on my vise with some things that just I wasn't satisfied with, so I decided, why am I doing that? Why don't I just go use the real tools? So onward and upward. I'm gonna fit the other side here and see how that looks. Working on the right side here. It's a really nice, the curve was just right. It's a good fit. The only thing is the panel, because the panel was kind of shifted to the right a little bit, this one tab here, if I bring the skin down, there's kind of a bump right there. So what I'm thinking I might do is just kind of nip off the corner of that tab just a little bit. And I also might try to get some pliers on it and twist it just to kind of match this curve a little better. Same thing with this one. And I feel like if I do that, I should get a little bit of a better fit right there. We'll see. Here's what I'll do. I've colored black with my marker the area I want to get rid of. And I think if I do that, and then I just give this a little bit of a twist, and here, I think that's gonna do it. That worked out beautifully. So you can see now if I bring this down, we get a nice, smooth, continuous curve there without a little bump out right there. So that's perfect. Looks like I'm gonna probably wanna put a shim under this one tab. I couldn't quite get it out enough, so I'll just shim that when I rivet it in place. Well, that'll wrap it up for this episode. I edited this video in its entirety and it was over 30 minutes long. Decided to chop that in half, and I'm trying to keep these episodes at 20 minutes or less. So that means there's gonna be a part 4, but that should do it. And then from there, we're getting on to mating the cage to the tail cone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.